Welcome to the San Francisco Playhouse. We're lovely to see all of you here for this opening night celebration with my producing director, Susie Del Milano, and I'm Bill English, artistic director. So here, cheers to an opening night. I'd like to take just a second to thank the Ohlone people who previously lived on this land and squired it and took care of it so magnificently. We'd like to thank them for their stewardship of this land, and we hope that they inspire us to do likewise, to take care of the land and to make the land grow and prosper and be safe for the future. Take just a second to thank them. So welcome to what may be our last virtual opening night. We're hoping that the first show of the summer, Hold These Truths, will be opening to a live audience, and you may be actually seeing Susie and I up on the actual stage making this speech, talking about the empathy gym, talking about the M&Ms. But tonight I'd like to introduce the stars of the show, the playwright, the actors, and the director.
And some of the team that helped put it together.
Some of the team that put it together. Are you guys
there
online?
They are, Lori. Let's get the Gala. We don't have Gala review. There we go. Now we can see them. So,
terrific. Gosh. So Ruben Grijalva wrote this play, which we commissioned him to write, and he gave us 4 brilliant ideas. Who knows, we may be moving on to idea number 2, 3, and 4 soon enough, but this was the one that we all agreed we would do, Shoot Me When. So Ruben, just give us a few words about the genesis of this wonderful story and how it came to you. And
yeah, it came to me, some of my, a couple of my wife's family members have been suffering from dementia, and one of them in particular, years ago, before we knew there was a problem, had expressed a thought, sort of like the thought expressed by the character in this play, and it stuck with me, especially because, you know, in real life, you know, there was no elaborate plan to end her life, but it was something that she had expressed on multiple occasions was her wish. And I started thinking about there really isn't a good way to deal with this kind of situation. And so I tried to imagine what it might look like if someone tried to take it in their own hands and do it with as much empathy as possible, and fold in some of the things that had happened as she started to decline, and but also try and make it fun if that's possible. So hopefully it's kind of fun as well, and that the lightheartedness and the way that we treat her with, you know, a full humanity of someone who makes a very bold choice for themselves. I'm always excited by that. I never start a play unless I don't know the answer to the question I'm asking. I'm still not sure I know the answer to the question I'm asking here in this play. And maybe that means there is no answer, but hopefully the characters in the play start to at least fill out the contours of what the question is and what some possible answers might be to this.
I remember the conversation we had some months ago when I called you on the phone to say we'd like to do the first performance of your play. We'd like to do the world premiere of your play. However, it's going to be shooting live actors into space, and then it's going to be streaming. And you said you needed a couple of days to think about it, whether you wanted to let your play be done that way. And then you said yes, and you took the leap off the cliff with me, which I will be perpetually grateful to you for putting that kind of trust in us. And I'm curious what do you think was the most challenging part of the process from the decision to do the play to opening night? What were some of the big challenges as a playwright?
Well, I mean, the reason I hesitated was simply that you only get one world premiere, right, of any given show. I don't churn out plays that fast, so you know, it's like each one, you know, is really important and special. But so that was my first thought: is this going to work? And then my second thought was, well, what's the alternative? We don't know when we're going to be out of this. So, you know, and then I was kind of like I was telling Susie earlier, like, I'm super grateful that you guys took the leap into doing this and didn't let theater just disappear during this time period. So like, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, even though at first it sounded scary. I would say the hardest thing was doing the rehearsals on Zoom, because I mean, so much of theater, I mean, sure, the actors would probably echo this, right? So much of theater, both for the actors and for me, who's trying to make rewrites and work on the play, is seeing it right up on its feet and seeing actors move in the space and seeing where maybe we don't need a line because the action gives us, what we need there. And when you don't have the actions because you don't have the actors in the room together, you kind of have to like project forward in your mind. And then, we had a couple days on stage to then figure it out. So for me, that was the hardest thing, was just not having that we're all in the room together and physically moving. And that usually gives me ideas, of how to make the play better as we're in rehearsal.
Was it a benefit that you and Susie had worked together previously on a show?
I almost wonder if it wouldn't have worked or would have been a lot harder. I think that we were on the same page so much already from the previous show that, one, I had so much trust, because I'd seen what she was able to do before. I had so much trust that, okay, once they get on that stage, she's going to figure out how to make this thing that's happening in little boxes on my screen right now, like a real play. Yeah. So that trust is obviously like a big component. But yeah, I think that I was hoping to go and be there for the shoot. I didn't. I ended up, watching on Zoom like this and trying to text her between scenes, frantically to give her thoughts as we were going. But yeah, I think because I had seen what she could do, but also, we had a language for talking about this together that I think was really effective and smooth, and hopefully was a good experience.
Because I was the stage door Johnny, on this particular project. I got to watch the two of you through the torturous process of casting.
Oh yeah.
And just I just think the both of you just were so determined to get the best cast, and I think I speak for the three of us. When I say I think we ended up with an absolute dream team, but it was a challenge to think of the right people and get them to agree to be in the little boxes with us too. I'd like to just take a minute to introduce the actors. Lori Holt, raise your hand. I'm going to introduce you. And Blythe Oliveira Foster, Melissa Ortiz, and Dan Hyatt, looking very dapper there in front of that
opening night.
You look like you're ready for the red carpet. But so you guys, what were the biggest challenges for you? Just a couple of sentences.
Look at Melissa.
Melissa's running for the.
Can't hide anything on my face, can I?
But Lori, what was the biggest challenge for you? Just a couple sentences.
The biggest challenge was the Zoom part, just like Ruben said. It was exhausting. I couldn't believe how tired I was. I mean, I think my fellow actors and Ruben would agree, and Susie, you too, that just you can't imagine how it's kind of grueling. I felt sorry for all of the kids all across the country who have been being educated on Zoom for the past year plus. And I just thought, how can they do it? How do they do it? Because I found 2.5 weeks or whatever it was that we were Zooming very, very tiring every day. But it was exciting also then when we finally got to the stage and there was everybody and we could see them and touch them and hug them and then block it. It was like a miracle. It was a beautiful thing to happen again after that.
Blythe.
Zoom was the hardest. Why? Why do you think?
I was saying, why do we do this?
Why? Yeah, I would just echo Lori, just the joy of finally being in a theater with each other again. Being live, like sharing time and space. It's what this art is about, and collaborating, and what a gift. And I'm so grateful to have been part of this process. Zoom was hard, but it was all worth it because we got to be on that stage together and we got to tell a story. And then we got to have this crazy experiment of cameras showing up and filming it. And Susie was so intuitive in her blocking and so smart in the questions that she asked us. And I can't believe that we did it in the amount of time that we did. And I'm so excited to see what we made together.
Great. Melissa, give us a few of your thoughts about.
Yeah, I think the hardest part was, well, Zoom was very difficult, but also when we got back in person and we were live in a theater, none of us had been in a theater on a stage for the entire pandemic. So I forgot how to like move around on stage and what stage right and stage left were, like how to get from one side of the stage to the other. I turned into like a little acting dunce, you know. I was like, so we had a lot of laughs, but my brain broke a little bit because we're wearing masks and we've got COVID safety, but now things are safe to do this that wasn't safe to do before. So getting used to touching people and hugging people and being a family, that was really difficult. For that made me lose my lines multiple times because I was doing so many things that my body was telling me was not safe to do for the past year. And now we're stepping into it again, making it normal in some way, but it's not normal because we're wearing masks and we're making sure that everyone's safe. That on top of the fact that we were doing everything that we normally do in 3 weeks at the same time on stage together. It was a whirlwind. And it was terrifying, and it was such a joy and a pleasure. I would do it all over again if I could, and hopefully we'll never have to.
No, I don't think anyone who hasn't been through this either as an actor or a director or a videographer has any idea how incredibly challenging this process was and how little time there was to make it happen. And it just demands a tremendous amount of discipline and dedication from everyone. So I'm just always aghast at the dedication of these actors. Dan, what's going through your mind at this glorious moment?
Well, first of all, it is a glorious moment. That's first of all, I want to say how grateful I am to be part of. It's like history is happening, because this is the first time in a year that at least the actors got together in a room. You know, I of course missed all the weeks of being on our feet and, you know, getting to know each other in space and in actual context of being together. But the thing that I thought was funny was, you know, they say, well, do a run through. Well, if it was a regular opening or first preview in front of an audience, you'd be a little jittery, but you would say, okay, big deal, you know. It's not a task to get through a play with an audience there. And suddenly without an audience and only cameras, it was like, oh my gosh, we have to do this all at once. We have to get through this whole play tonight. So the thing that I miss is the final cog will be when the audience can come back in. And it sounds like you have plans for that already. So looking forward to that, but it's great to be part of this kind of hybrid version that we've worked out. And I, again, like echoing all the other actors, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
I think what you just said, Dan, is really interesting. And it just speaks to the power of live theater in that having the audience live, it's that energy that helps propel you through, right? It's, you feel it. And that makes so much sense, because I'm like, why can't they just run it? They would do it if there was an audience here, but that makes a lot of sense.
And it's sort of the reason you're telling the story is very evident. And suddenly you know what the story is, because you're telling a story now for reals to people sitting in seats.
Yeah, and with the camera people, and Anthony was one of them, they have to be silent.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't even get a little bit of a laugh.
Right.
And we're used to having that. They are the other scene partner. They are the actor's other scene partner.
Yeah, in a way, that's great. The cameras are to whom? The audience that you're playing to.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just about showtime here. Ooh. And so, drum roll, another drum roll, raise your glass. A glorious moment for us all to be together. And I'm going to turn this over to you, who's going to say the words she often says from stage, but this time from her box, about starting the show.
All right.
Well,
Thank
hi, everybody. I am TU. I'm the Director of Audience and Donor Relations, and I get to do this on stage most nights. And it's been one of the saddest parts about the pandemic is not being able to say hi to 200 people every night. But I get to say hi to you. So welcome to the Empathy Gym. Welcome to the San Francisco Playhouse. Unwrap your candies or don't. You're on your couch. It's fine. Just something to note, if you are watching this on our Zoom call, if you're one of I see you just muted me. I'm back. So what you'll want to do is refresh your browser if you are watching from your ticket. If you are on this Zoom call with us right now, we'll end the Zoom call and you can go back and find your ticket. Operators are standing by. Give me a call if you have trouble finding your ticket and I can help you out. And with that being said, enjoy the commission and world premiere of Shoot Me When. Yay.